As my Fire Emblem 6 reverse recruitment was coming to an end, I remember talking to a buddy as I was driving him home from hanging out with friends, saying, man, I think I want to do Pokemon Emerald next. But with all the people that watched the reverse recruitment series, I should probably pick something that my audience is interested in for the YouTube algorithm. And then he looked at me, half drunk out of his mind, half high on an edible, and he yelled, "Who the f isn't interested in Pokemon?" And you know what? Bowling Ball, my dear friend, yes, I call him Bowling Ball, you're goddamn right. Who isn't interested in Pokemon?
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
Hey, welcome to Pokemon Emerald, our third Pokemon Let's Play on this channel, and this is the one that was around when I grew up. I played my older brother's old hand-me-down red, blue, yellow, silver, crystal, etc. But as for the Pokemon that came out when I was growing up, I remember seeing the advertisements for the, wireless connector thingy that you slapped onto the back of an SP. And this was the first Pokemon game that was like mine, that I owned. Well, actually it was Pokemon Ruby, but I lost Ruby in my father's couch and never found it again. This was the one that I still own. I still have my copy of Pokemon Emerald. So yeah, needless to say, I will be approximately 72% more annoying about this game than I was about Crystal. So, how do you really introduce a Pokemon game? It's Pokemon. See that Lotad? I'm gonna catch one of those. Fuck. I might even catch a Lombre. Hello. I am a man. And my name is Stev 14. We're on 14. Wow. It is indeed. Okay. You're Stev 14, who's moving to my hometown of Little Root. I get it now. Sorry, Birch, I've kind of been completely skipping over your dialogue. But, it's a lovely color gradient you got here. I like how it starts bright green and then descends into black darkness. That's cool. Also, deeply funny being the guy who yells, "Have courage," and then 5 minutes later you're getting jumped by a Zigzagoon. I'm not the first one to say this, but why the fuck is the child riding in the back of the moving truck? Why did you stick little Jimmy in the back of a U-Haul? I'm bringing up this save screen just because I feel like most players don't see the location of inside of truck. I just think it's funny. So, imagine if one of these boxes fell on me. Actually, that reminds me, a cool insider trick. If you are ever in a car accident that is not your fault, piss your pants. That way, in addition to suing them for the damage to your car and to your body, you can add on a humiliation lawsuit for additional damage. Alright. I believe it's Machokes who are moving us? No, it's Vigoroths. The movers Pokemon do all the work of moving us in and cleaning up after. This is so convenient. Wait, if the movers Pokemon are doing all of the work, why don't we pay the Pokemon? What are the movers even doing? And also, you say this Pokemon does all the work. He's just moving the same box left and right. All I'm saying is these Vigoroths should rise up against their oppressors. Anyways, that's enough Team Plasma talk for right now. The clock is stopped. I have arbitrarily decided that it is going to be about 4:48 in the afternoon. Sure. Step 14. How do you like your new room? Good. Everything's put away neatly. They finished moving everything in downstairs, too. Pokemon movers are so convenient. Oh, you should make sure that everything's all there on your desk. What's that? A tutorial book? I don't need a tutorial, I say as I clicked it. No. What I need is I need to use the power of a computer to manifest a physical item in my inventory. And my purple GameCube. Man, I am a little upset with myself, and I might still be kicking myself. My GameCube from when I was a kid went up. It was a brave soldier, it lasted me over 20 years, but it bit the dust. So I went to a retro game store, and I got a new GameCube for like $50. And while I was there, I noticed they had a copy of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on sale for $150. Without the case and manual, it was just the disc. But I still have my Fire Emblem Path of Radiance case and manual. The only thing I'm missing is the disc because of a long story that involves one of my friends getting leukemia. It's not important. But I was like, I could finally have game case and manual for Fire Emblem 9 again. And I went, just because I'm in a position where I can spend $150 on a GameCube game, doesn't mean I should spend $150 on a GameCube game. But every day afterwards, I've been kicking myself. I've been like, damn, I'm kind of upset that I didn't spend $150 on a GameCube game. Oh, hello. And you are? Oh, you're Step 14, our new next-door neighbor. Hi. We have a daughter about the same age as you. Our daughter was excited about making a new friend. Our daughter is upstairs, I think. Alright, look, hang on, hello, child. Hi, neighbor! Do you already have your own Pokemon? No, I'm cringe and lame. I understand that you're excited about making a new friend, but who just lets a boy into their daughter's room? Yo, she's got an orange GameCube! Cool. Huh? Who are you? Yeah, fair question to ask. Oh, you're Step 14. So your move was today. I'm May. Glad to meet you. I have this dream of becoming friends with Pokemon all over the world. I heard about you, Step 14, from my dad, Professor Bitch. I was hoping that you would be nice, Step 14, and that we could be friends. Which is really funny, because in canon, if I remember correctly, Brennan, which is the canonical name of the male protagonist of Gen 3, he's kind of a misogynistic douche. If I remember correctly. Alright. But we have gotten through the opening escapades. Hello, little girl. Hi. There were scary Pokemon outside. I can hear their cries. I want to go see what's going on, but I don't have any Pokemon. Can you go see what's happening? Well, I don't have any Pokemon earlier, but I am a much dumber person than you, child, and I will go out into the area with the wild beasts anyway. Birch. Hello, you over there. Please help. In my bag, there's a Pokemon ball. Oh, that doesn't seem like my problem. Where are you going? Don't leave me like that. Bro, that's a Zigzagoon. I'm fairly certain you can just, like, slap it across the nose and it'll faint. Alright. I guess I'll go get more Pokemon. It is now time to choose. Which starter do I want to take? There's only one correct answer. Mudkip is by far the most powerful Pokemon that has ever existed in the history of Pokemon forever. It is a water type, in a generation where water types are pretty good. On top of that, as it evolves, it gets the secondary ground typing. And water ground is a really, really powerful type combination, only having one weakness and a bunch of useful resistances and immunities. On top of that, the one weakness it does have, the grass type, really can be mitigated because it can learn Ice Beam, and on top of that, there are no major grass type trainers in this entire game. At worst, you have to worry about Winona's Tropius or Wallace's Ludicolo. Like, you really don't give a shit about grass types. And on top of that, remember when we were children, we over-leveled the hell out of our starter. Swampert, which is what Mudkip evolves into, does have noticeable weaknesses. However, those weaknesses don't matter as much when it's over-leveled. Like, if I over-leveled the fire starter, I would still have problems with the water gyms, or the psychic and flying gyms, because it's a fighting type. If I over-leveled Sceptile, that wouldn't really help me very much, because it would still struggle against Flannery and the Winona. Swampert doesn't have any problems like that. Like, oh, its special attack isn't the greatest, but if it's over-leveled, that doesn't matter. It's not the fastest Pokemon, it's going to be outsped a lot. Well, if you level it up a bunch, it doesn't matter. It took until the most recent Pokemon game, with Skeledirge, to have a starter to rival Swampert. I don't know, I've only played through Scarlet and Violet once. I don't know enough about the single player, like what's really good, but I know that Skeledirge comes really, really close. This Swampert's legacy has lasted for decades. But who gives a shit? Torchic is the Fire-type starter of Generation 3, eventually evolving into the Fire-fighting type Blaziken. It specializes in its very potent offenses. Torchic gets absurd special attack and physical attack, and a solid enough move pool to take advantage of it. Learning a useful boosting move like Bulk Up to increase its physical damage, you can get this thing Flamethrower, Double Kick, Blaze Kick, Earthquake, a lot of solid moves. Torchic is quite strong in the early game as well, because once you get Combuskin, it will double kick the shit out of every Poochyena the evil teams have. Blaziken does struggle a bit towards the back end of the game, as it's not very useful against Winona, or against Juan or Wallace, or Tate and Liza, but Pokemon isn't a boss rush. While Blaziken might struggle against some boss fights, it can easily be a huge part of what gets you to those boss fights. With its incredibly high offenses and good enough speed to outspeed most things, it's going to one-shot a lot of Pokemon. It is a very fun Pokemon as well. The first of the fire fighting types, which, personally, I like all three of them. Blaziken, Infernape, and Emboar are all my goats. But still, very solid Pokemon, great stats, it is super fun to use. Just understand that you're gonna struggle a little bit with some boss fights. But who gives a shit about this dumb bird? Treecko is the grass starter of Generation 3, and it is, by far, the worst of the three. Now, normally grass types struggle because the game likes to throw bad matchups for grass types at you, with a lot of the early game being bugs and birds that grass types don't handle very well, and the evil team of the game often using poison types that grass types also don't handle very well. Specifically Zubat, which is a nightmare for grass types. However, this generation is a little kinder to grass types than most. I mean, yes, there are still a million Zubats flying around, but a lot of the gyms and battles actually are pretty fine for a grass type. At least, later on. And on top of that, Sceptile does have good stats and has the best offensive grass type move, Leaf Blade, which really is the best grass type move at this point. Energy Ball and Seed Bomb, those don't exist yet. So what's the problem? Well, there are two problems. One is Treecko doesn't get a secondary type. Treecko is stuck being mono grass, while Blaziken gets the fighting type, and Swampert gets the ground type. Which, that might not be too bad, but dual types are often better than mono types, because that's just a better move pool, more coverage options that Sceptile just doesn't have. On top of that, and this is the bigger problem, is that wouldn't be too bad if it weren't for the move pool. At level, I think level 6, like pretty quickly, Treecko gets Absorb, which is very weak. In fact, it's about as weak as a move can be. And then, hold on, before I continue talking, I need to come up with a nickname here. Alright. Treecko is a gecko. A nickname for a gecko would be Geico. No, I'm not going to name my lead Pokemon of a Let's Play after a car insurance brand. Okay, let me think of a lizard, then. Maybe not a gecko. I can't think of any famous geckos outside the Geico gecko. But let me think, what's a famous lizard? Fuck, I just thought of the Geico gecko again. Got it. Hold on. I shall nickname you Lizard Man, after the Soul Calibur character Lizard Man, who in the story of Soul Calibur is in fact a lizard man. Yes, the only two famous lizards in all of mankind. Geico Gecko, Lizard Man. But as I was saying, Treecko gets the move Absorb early on, and then does not get another Grass-type move until level 27 as a Grovyle, where it does get Leaf Blade. And then it gets no other good offensive moves. It gets Fury Cutter, which, for those of you that know the modern times, are thinking, oh, Fury Cutter, that's a base 40 power bug-type move that doubles in power every hit. That's a really fine move. Yes. Nowadays. Back in this generation, its base power is 10, I think, or 20. And it's a physical attack. The Treecko line is a special attacking line. But okay, does it get any useful moves at all? It gets Pursuit, a 40 base power dark move. It gets Slam at like level 40, at a point where Strength, the HM, is a better move. Yeah, Treecko has some problems. However, it is one of my favorite Pokemon ever made, and I just decided that when I was like 6 years old, and here I am, 27 years old now, and Treecko's still one of my favorites. Why did young me decide that Sceptile was one of my favorite Pokemon? Honestly, it could be something like it was one of the first starters I ever used, or maybe it was the fact that, it was the Pokemon that took down that fuck-ass Darkrai from Tobias in the anime. There are many reasons I could theoretically value Treecko as much as I do. But I also like lizards. Lizards are kind of cool. They're cool animals. So, yeah. I like Treecko being a lizard man. Anyways. Look at this fucking bird. I'm going to slap the shit out of it. Excellent. Ah, the good old-fashioned grind up one level so you can beat the shit out of Maze Torchic. I've done this many times, as it were. Many times. Alright, Wingull, put the experience points in the bag. Oh, thank you. And I learned Absorb! Great! You know the fucked up thing? The really fucked up thing? Let's look at the summary here. Absorb! 20 base power. It gets a 50% boost in power because it's the same type, so it's actually 30 base power. Pound is stronger. It is better to use Pound on a neutral, in like a neutral target, rather than the move that is like the move that's supposed to carry it to level 27. Yeah. Where, I mean, the absorb factor is kind of nice, I guess. I mean, it'll be enough to slap around this hyena. But okay, think positive. What are the positives about going forward? Well, the opening routes of Hoenn actually have a lot of really nice Pokemon in them. For, like, all purposes, and I'll get to that shortly. So... Oh, come on! Now I'm gonna have to go back and heal. Well, I mean, yeah, no, I should heal. I could just use a potion. But, like, what if I run out of potions? I got 2 of them. Be wasteful of my limited resources. I didn't learn a goddamn thing watching Fern Gully. I will simply continue to be wasteful. Alright, Poochyena, buddy. You look really cool, but, I'm leaving. Thank you. Alright, May. Let me remember to do my options. Tech speed, fast. Battle style, set. That means it won't give me the option of, this Pokemon's getting sent out, would you like to switch? That's how I prefer to play. We'll stay with Mono. Button mode, LR. Ooh, this is the most important part of any Pokemon game. What frame do we want? I'm thinking... This feels like a Stars kind of playthrough. Yeah, this is a Type 12 beat. Hello there, child. I would like to beat the shit out of your chicken. Let's see. The Pokemon found on Route 103 include... Oh, hi, Step 14. Oh, I see. My dad gave you a Pokemon as a gift. Well, since we're here, let's have a quick battle. I'll give you a taste of what being a trainer is like. Will you now? Will you really? Well, you may find that your hopes are going to be dashed. It's over for you. I have leveled up exactly once. This difference in our skill simply cannot be overcome. I am going to decimate you, dominate your bird, and I will steal your money and experience points. There is no hope for the likes of you. Nirvana is out of reach. And the BM critical hit at the very end. Lizard Man, I'm proud of you. You let this child know that her hopes and dreams are dead. Good Lizard. Good Lizard. Oh shit, Lizard Man's a woman. Well, it seems I have given my Pokemon gender dysphoria. Sorry about that. I didn't mean it. Okay, Oldale Town. I will see you later. Step 14, over here. Let's hurry home. Anyways, thank goodness for ledges. I say as a piranha plant. Listen, I don't play Smash competitively. I play it with my friends. And I love playing Piranha Plant. If I can get you off the ledge, I know the angles to keep you off there forever. I just don't know how Piranha Plant's supposed to get you off the ledge in the first place. I heard you beat May on your first try. That's excellent. May's been helping with my research for a long time. And her Pokemon's only level 5? Come on, dude. Here, Stev. I ordered this for my research, but I think you should have this Pokedex. Also, it's funny that Birch just now got Pokedexes. Like, I would feel like the Pokedex is the, like, first step into becoming a researcher. Alright. Also, I think the implication is that May's, like, May has had other Pokemon. Like, clearly she catches other things. It's just that when we saw her, she just so happened to, like, be training this Torchic. Alright. We are now officially being let loose into the world. Oh, hi, Mom. Step 14, Step 14. Did you introduce yourself to Professor Birch? You know, I just now realized this woman let her child, her, like, 10-year-old son, walk over to not a stranger's house. She knew Professor Birch. Walk over to some kid's house, leave the city to another town, and then go up into the wilderness, where they could get attacked by wild hyenas and seagulls. Mom of the Year award over here. Alright. Then again, this is a world where 10-year-olds are just allowed to do this, so maybe I should not be judging this woman based on the parenting styles of our kind. And I guess it's also true that 10-year-olds have monsters that they can just call upon for battle. So, like, really? That's probably fine. Now that we can catch Pokemon, let's talk about him. Zigzagoon is a funny little guy I forgot to heal. This riveting analysis probably can still go on, actually. Zigzagoon is your typical starting rodent. Shows up really early, evolves pretty early at level 20, and its stats aren't the greatest, but it'll do you well in the early game. It gets Headbutt really early, which is actually a really useful move. Because think about it. Alright, let me run you through some math. Zigzagoon gets Headbutt. That is a stab attack, meaning it gets the 50% attack bonus, and has a 30% chance to flinch. Rubbing its nose against the ground, it always wanders about, back and forth, in search of something. It is distinguished by the zigzag footprints it leaves. So hold on, let me run you through this. So, when it evolves into Linoon, it becomes really fast. Headbutt has a 30% chance to make the opponent flinch. So, since Linoon's going to outspeed everything, and Headbutt has a 30% chance to flinch, we can say that Linoon essentially has a 30% chance to take out any Pokemon without getting attacked first, because nothing's going to survive 2 Headbutts from a Linoon relative to when you get Linoon. So if it has a 30% chance to take out a Pokemon without that Pokemon hitting it, that's basically like saying Linoon has a 30% chance to one-shot any Pokemon. That is my math, and I am sticking to it. However, I need to name this thing. Zigzagoon is like a raccoon, and then Linoon's like a prairie dog. I don't know any famous raccoons or prairie dogs. Wait, what the fuck's the name of the raccoon from Over the Hedge? Remy? No, that's a rat from Ratatouille. Hold up. I'm consulting the internet. Actually, no. It's like a small furry creature. I'm just gonna call this thing the Cheat from the old Homestar Runner Strong Bad cartoons. Meh. Alright, now I have the Cheat. I'm going to leave to heal, and then I will come back for the other Pokemon available there. We have 2 Pokemon of our very own. Excellent. And now, I will be journeying back down, because there are 2 more Pokemon I need to nab that appear in Route 101. This could be one of them right now. Wurmple! Wurmple is this game's starting bug. It can evolve into one of 2 Pokemon. Either, Silcoon, which will evolve into Beautifly, or Cascoon, which will evolve into Dustox. Both of these evolutions, will happen by level 10, and it's good for him. Basically, this generation went, we don't have Butterfree and Beedrill in this game. They did not make the jump from Johto. So, we'll just make them the same Pokemon. And Wurmple can evolve into either. Now you might ask, what triggers whether or not Wurmple will evolve into Beautifly or Dustox? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it's actual devil magic and it's random. It sticks to tree branches and eats leaves. The thread it spits from its mouth, which becomes gooey when it touches air, slows the movement of its foes. Give a nickname to Wurmple? Yes. I don't know what this thing's going to evolve into, so I just need to think of a famous worm. Got it. I shall name you after the most famous worm of all. String. Yeah, worm on a string. Okay, so my official not pro at all, analysis on which Wurmple form to take. Beautifly is garbage. Dustox is really good. Now, I'm catching Pokemon too quickly to finish the analysis. But the basic reasons for this, and I'll make this quick. Beautifly wants to be like Butterfree. A fast Pokemon with really good special attack, especially relative to when you get it. And it can just do a lot of damage before it will eventually get outclassed by better special attackers. The problem is Butterfree learns the really useful move, Confusion, while Beautifly learns the weak Absorb, and then doesn't really get a better move at all, unless you really want to use the Psychic TM on it, because then it just kind of gets Mega Drain. And unlike Butterfree, it doesn't get the useful spores and powders until way later. Like, it gets Stun Spore at 17, and that's it. Actually, hold on, I misremembered. So yeah, Beautifly kind of can't do anything. Dustox, meanwhile, doesn't try to be Beedrill in that it's a physical attacking Pokemon. I'll put a pause on this. Poochyena is a hyena. What's a popular hyena? The 3 hyenas from Lion King. Ed, Bonsai, and then a third one. Of those, Bonsai is the coolest name, as it is way better than Ed and third one. So Bonsai it is. Dustox, instead, wants to be a defensive Pokemon. It has really high special defense, and it learns psychic moves. It learns Confusion, I think it learns Psybeam, but mainly it wants to stand around and not die, which is actually pretty useful. It's kind of not that bad at it, especially because it has an advantage against the second and third gyms, in a way. The second gym, because Bug and Poison resist fighting, and the third gym is a special attack-based gym, so Dustox's high special defense matters a lot. Conversely, though, while it doesn't do much damage, its special attack is high enough relative to level 10. So, it's not bad. I genuinely believe Dustox is not that terrible. Now, however, we can talk about Poochyena, because I already caught one. Unless I happen to run into Wingull, which is the only new Pokemon on this route. We'll get to Poochyena in a moment. Wingull is actually one of the best Pokemon you can catch early in the game. Which sounds crazy. Oh, you lowered my attack. That's great. But it's got a few things in its favor. Early water gun. Solid. It gets wing attack pretty quick as well. Really solid. Water flying is a very good defensive typing, having an advantage against a lot of gyms and just being a useful typing in general. It evolves into Pelipper decently quickly, and Pelipper's got some pretty decent bulk to it and some pretty good special attack. It also can learn Shockwave for some reason, which means it can kind of deal with its fellow water types. It's available early, its stats are pretty good, it's a solid Pokemon. It makes its nest on a sheer cliff at the edge of the sea. It has trouble keeping its wings flapping in flight. Instead, it soars on updrafts. Alright, but yeah, Pelipper and Wingull, solid Pokemon all around, worth using. What do I want to nickname it? Famous Seagull. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to run you through this one. So, what Pelipper is known for nowadays is the fact that it has the ability Drizzle, which is an automatic rain dance. It doesn't have that ability back at this point, but it's what it's known for now. When I think of rain dance, I am going to go with Rain Dance Maggie. You know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers song? Rain Dance Maggie advances to the final. Who knew that she had the goods? Little did I know her body was one delicious vino. To your neck of the woods, I want to lick a little bit. You know that one? I said, hey now, we've gotta make it rain somehow. She told me to and showed me what to do. Oh, Maggie makes it in a cloud. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Maggie. So now, I should finally be able to talk about Poochyena. Unless one of the Pokemon I run into this spot of grass, it's not Zigzagoon. Poochyena is kind of like Zigzagoon, where it's available early on, and evolves quickly, and it does get a move that flinches, Bite, and it gets that early, and it gets the useful move Intimidate. The problem is Mightyena wants to be a physical attacker. This is before the physical special split, meaning that its Bite and Crunch are special attacks. And honestly, Mightyena doesn't have that great a special attack. It's still enough to deal with a lot of the generic Pokemon that you come across from like generic trainers, not generic Pokemon. But once it starts getting against gym leaders and stronger Pokemon, it's not going to hold its own as well as Linoone does. Still, if you like its design, and it does look cool in my opinion, or if you just like hyenas, which hyenas are kind of cool animals, you will get a good usage out of Mightyena. I just think if you're going to use a Pokemon on these first few routes, I would recommend using Linoone. Alright. I did a whole lot of talking. It's a Let's Play. Of course I'm doing talking. I need to get better. Now in this spot of grass, that I am trying desperately to find something that is not Wurmple, Poochyena, or Zigzagoon, there are three, count it, 3 new Pokemon for me to discover. They do not seem to want to show up. But we're gonna keep trying. They're around here somewhere, I know it. Poochyena? I'm flattered, but I'm good. I have one of you already. Oh, I did a test run through of the game about a year ago, where I just played through Emerald to be like, what team do I want to use when I make this Let's Play, blah, 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 blah. And, on the first route of the game, I caught a shiny Wurmple. It has been nicknamed Purmple. So, that's kind of cool. I mean, the Pokemon I'm looking for have a 20%, a 4%, and a 1% encounter rate. So, like, I'm not too surprised I haven't seen one yet. Alright, come on. I gotta get one of them, right? I said in the opening of this Let's Play I was catching a Lotad. Now show me a fucking Lotad. Oh. Hi, Lotad. Lotad! This Pokemon is hated by God. Now, what could I mean by that? Now, let me just walk you through its positives. Water Grass is a pretty solid typing, actually, with a lot of useful resistances, and its weaknesses aren't too prevalent in this game. Wow, can't expect to break free. So it does have that going for it. On top of that, Ludicolo's stats are really solid, being a special attacking special wall, which is very useful in this game. Hoenn really values special defense more than physical defense for its bosses. And it's got that going for it as well. By the end of the game, hang on, this Pokemon lives in ponds with clean water. It is known to ferry small Pokemon across ponds by carrying them on the broad leaf on its head. Give a nickname to Lotad? Yes. Ludicolo is a Kappa, Japanese folklore creature, so I am going to nickname this Lotad Mikey, after Kappa Mikey. A cartoon that was, I don't know if it was ahead of its time or perfectly of its time, or somehow both. Anyways, Lotad's very solid typing, and it has a pretty good move pool it can learn by the end game, with Surf, Giga Drain, Ice Beam, Rain Dance, all complementing it really well. Getting to the end game with Lotad is part of the problem. It evolves early at level 14 into Lombre. Its main offensive move is Absorb again. I've explained the problem with Absorb. It's really weak and should not be the only move you can rely on for damage. So what else does Lotad and Lombre get? Well, it gets Nature Power, which is mostly just going to be Stun Spore, or Swift, which, like, is decent, but it depends on where your location is. So in the grass against regular trainers, where a decently powerful attacking move like Swift would be helpful, you get Stun Spore. In buildings, where you're fighting normally gym leaders and other bosses, where a status move like Stun Spore would be useful to use on their ace, you get Swift. Nature Power has been buffed for 2 generations straight after this game, so they knew Nature Power was bad. It's just that the good moves only exist in caves and mountains, where there's not that much battling. So okay, Lombre's level up move pool isn't the greatest, but you can give it the TMs for Ice Beam, for Surf, and that's good. Okay, sure. They take a while to get unlocked, but sure, eventually Ludicolo will be fine. But there's another problem. You see, it evolves by the Water Stone, one of the elemental stones. Let me explain to you where you get all of the elemental stones in Hoenn. You get the Fiery Stone in Fiery Path behind a boulder you need to use Strength on. You get the ability to use Strength right after you beat the 4th gym. Okay. The Thunderstone is obtained in New Mauville, an area you can go to right after the 5th gym. Okay, sure. The Leaf Stone is on the same route as the Weather Institute, which is right after the 5th gym. So okay, 3 of the 4 elemental stones are either right before or right after the 5th gym. That seems to be around when you evolve those Pokemon. The Water Stone is obtained in the areas of the abandoned ship where you need to use Dive to access. And you don't get to use Dive until after the 7th gym. You are going to be running around with a Blaziken, with a Flygon, an Aggron. Like, you're fully evolved Pokemon, and you're stuck with Lombre. I don't know why just the Water Stone is obtained so late, because the only Pokemon in Hoenn that evolves with it is Lombre. And Staryu, but Staryu's not obtained until you get to the 7th gym town anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much for that one, but it just fucks over Ludicolo. If you stick with it, Ludicolo will be really good. But honest to God, I can't imagine sticking with it. Alright. Now, I am going to be looking for 2 more Pokemon here. Really just 1. I'm sure I'll find it. Hang on. That's a Zigzagoon. Alright, hang on. I'm going to use Psychic Powers. When I snap my fingers, I'm suddenly going to be in front of the Pokemon I want. Okay, now I have to edit that to make it look really cool and like it was instant. Whoa, wasn't it crazy how I used my Psychic Powers to instantly make this Grass type appear? Seedot is decently useful. It is a grass. It'll evolve into the Grass Dark type Shiftry, where it's like kind of useful. Shiftry's 4 times bug weakness doesn't matter when good bug types don't really exist right now, or at the very least, good bug type moves. Like, the only bug type move you would have to fear is Mega Horn from Heracross. And, like, you don't really find many Heracrosses. In addition to that, it does evolve much easier with the Leaf Stone. But, get used to hearing this a lot. Shiftry is a mixed attacker. It has pretty good, physical attack. It has good physical attack and good special attack. Okay, that's kind of cool. The moves are the problem. It hangs off branches and absorbs nutrients. When it finishes eating, its body becomes so heavy that it drops to the ground with a thump. Alright, Seedot's an Acorn. Famous Acorns. Sally. From Sonic the Hedgehog. Got it. So, while it has good offensive stats, the problem is it just doesn't learn moves. Seed Bomb doesn't exist yet, Energy Ball doesn't exist yet, it can't learn Crunch, so instead of actually useful moves, Shiftry is stuck with Feint Attack and Giga Drain being its main stab moves. And it's not a bulky Pokemon like Ludicolo, so the bulk of Giga Drain isn't that good on it. The healing of Giga Drain, excuse me. Now, it does get some TM moves. It gets Shadow Ball, Brick Break, Aerial Ace. Like, it's something. Rollout for those so inclined. But it also is it wants to show off nature power. Which isn't very good, as I've said before. Still, if you want to use it, you're gonna have to wait for it to have moves worth having. But once you get there, Dark Grass has a really solid showing against the Elite Four specifically, as well as the last few gym battles against Tate and Liza and, Juan. So, like, Shiftry's day will come, and due to its better stats, it actually is a little better to use than Ludicolo for that reason, like, to get there. It's a fine Pokemon. But the real Pokemon I'm looking for is going to appear when I clap my hands. Are you fucking kidding me? I found 2 1% Seedots before the 4% Ralts. What the fuck? Finally. This took me minutes of my life. Minutes, I say. Ralts is a pure psychic type. And unfortunately for her, pure psychic types are not quite the incredible commodity they used to be. It's embarrassing to say this, but pure psychic types do get completely walled by a Poochyena. However, just because it is... Ooh, do I do this? I think I do this. Don't be arranged, don't be arranged, don't be arranged, don't be arranged, don't be arranged. It was a range. All because I forgot to buy Pokeballs. Anyways, I'll just finish giving the bio on Ralts. The punchline was going to be, I was going to talk about how it was harder to use in this generation than Psychic types prior. And then say, that doesn't stop it from still being incredibly broken. Because it gets the move Calm Mind really early, which will increase its special attack and special defense. You use 2 of those, Gardevoir just single-handedly sweeps like everything. It only gets 1 coverage move, and that's Thunderbolt, and that's the only one it needs. With Calm Mind, Psychic, and Thunderbolt, Gardevoir will solo so many bosses. Just because Dark types are more common now and Psychic types can't just have a free run of the land, doesn't mean you can't wreck shop with one. You just, whenever you see something like that Poochyena right there, use something else. But really, it's still incredibly powerful. High damage, high special bulk, it will die instantly to physical attacks, but there really aren't that many physical attack users in the game. Like, once you get past the body-slamming Torkoal, which, really, if you set up Calm Minds, Curlia will one-shot. Norman's bad for... Oh, so you just show up while I'm bitching about you. You think you can just show up while I'm talking about you, and that will make me forgive all the things you put me through. I had to walk over there like 5 feet and buy some balls. You have wasted so many minutes of my precious life. Get in the ball. Okay, we're playing hardball, are we? Let me guess, the lady doth wishes to be pampered. Fine. Get in the premier ball. Fine. So, yeah. It does have a weakness to physical attacks and dark types, but that can be gotten around easily enough. It's still a very powerful Pokemon, and definitely worth using. A Ralts has the power to sense the emotions of people and Pokemon with the horns on its head. It takes cover if it ever senses any hostility. Then why the hell did you show up to me? I was definitely being hostile. Alright, a nickname for Ralts. It's a Pokemon that deals with emotions. In terms of design, Gardevoir is just a whole-ass woman. Like, that's not a creature. It's like calling Machamp or Machoke or Mr. Mime Pokemon. Those are just men. Ralts is just a woman. Alright, name one woman. Alright, I got it. I am naming you after Dolly Parton. That is the first woman that came into my mind. Alright. Now you've actually seen me using her, but I would like to introduce you to, out of all the Pokemon I've just caught, the team member that I'm going to be using on my journey. For those of you that were wondering what my team was going to be when this episode started, if you said 4 fucking Zigzagoons, you are correct. Oh. And a Wingull, I guess. But wait, there's one more. See, in Ruby and Sapphire, there is another Pokemon that you could have acquired in this opening route. Surskit. It's a cute little pond skater. So I nicknamed it Skeeter. after the Pond Skaters enemies from Super Mario Sunshine. And I traded traded this thing for my completely legal Pokemon Ruby, and I traded it from Dante from the Devil May Cry series. If you wanted to get a Surskit for yourself and use it, the barrier of needing to trade one in is a bit high for some people. And if you get it, it's like weird. It starts out as a bug water type, which is a kind of a cool type combination. But when it evolves at level 22, it becomes a bug flying type, which is a much, much worse and much more generic type combination. And on top of that, its stats are strange. It has that same feeling of an early bug type, but it evolves at level 22 instead of level 10. So it's like, it's not as good. I will say, though, that if you want to use it, don't evolve it at level 22. Evolve it at level 25 so that you can get Bubble Beam on it. Yeah, pro tip if you're using a Surskit in an original copy of Pokemon Emerald. Wait until 25 to evolve it. Surskit's cool looking, and like Masquerain, I don't even mind its design. I do think it looks kind of cool, but you have to use it in Ruby or Sapphire, or trade it over. So its usability gets really reduced. It suffers from being, like, a Pokemon that's not natively in the third version of the game. Like, Honchkrow and Mismagius are cool Pokemon, but few people use them in Gen 4 because it requires you to be playing Diamond and Pearl instead of Platinum. But yeah, finally, we can actually progress past the first few routes. Don't worry, future episodes should not be as long and wordy as this one. It's just since I like to catch all the Pokemon, and then talk about all the Pokemon, the first episode of a Pokemon series takes a while. Because I have to talk about a bunch of new Pokemon. But after this, I'm gonna see Poochyenas and Zigzagoons fucking everywhere. I don't need to talk about them again forever. What I can talk about is how Maggie is absolutely water gunning these worms. It's like the Itsy Bitsy Spider, except it's the Itsy Bitsy Wurmple. And instead of the rain washing it out, it's drowning. I am drowning worms to death with a water gun. Sacrifices must be made. Hello there, Mr. Poochyena. Oh, right, I just realized. I didn't explain why I have 4 fucking Zigzagoons. The reason for this... Let's see if any activated. Nope. It's because every Zigzagoon has the ability Pickup. Which, if I remember Pickup logic correctly, after every battle, there is a 10% chance that Pickup activates. And when Pickup activates, Zigzagoon will be holding a random item. What item it's holding is determined by a chart. There's always a chart. It was crazy, because in Ruby and Sapphire, Pickup allowed you to pick up rare candies and nuggets with the level 2 raccoon you picked up. Apparently, Emerald decided that that was broken and not good game design. So in Emerald and all future releases of Pickup, it is based off of the level of the Pickup Pokemon. Which is dumb, and cringe, and stupid, and dumb. Alright, thank you. I just stole $48 from that loser. Dumbass children. Alright, give me the berries. I want your berries too. Gimme. Put them in my hand. So, every battle, I'm gonna check. And look, we got one! A repel! That's actually kind of nice. Alright, there is one more trainer on this route. Maggie, I do believe you're going to need to be healed. I could just run around this woman and then go to the Pokemon Center and then come back. But, like, I'm lazy. I don't feel like doing that. Help me further your career. I'm sorry to say that after fighting me, your body will be so broken that you'll be collecting disability for the rest of your life. I'm afraid all of your meals will have to be eaten through a straw for the rest of time. Farewell, Zigzagoon. May the next life be kinder to you than this one. I just realized that until Maggie learns Wing Attack, I actually have no way to deal with a Shroomish. Well... there we go, see? Boom! And let's switch into Lizard Man. Oh, come on! One turn? Really? Now watch, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna use Pound on this thing. Shroomish's Effect Spore is gonna go off, and I'm gonna fall asleep. Huh. Okay. Well, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Wow, I'm actually getting lucky. Normally, things like Effect Spore and Poison Point happen every single time you make contact with an enemy. Fine by me, though. I am A-okay with none of that shit mattering. Thank you for your $64, young schoolgirl. Never fight me again. It'll be a losing battle every time. Oh, right, I forgot. When I was doing the test run for this game about a year ago... Oh, I already talked about Wurmple, didn't I? I do believe I talked about Purple. Sorry, this bit of recording happened a few hours after the first bit, so I forgot about what I talked about. Or it's funny to just think I've become schizophrenic, and I'm already, like, forgetting things. Hey! Welcome to episode 1 of Pokemon Emerald. This playthrough should be a lot of fun. Oh, damn it. We already started, didn't we? Oh, well. So in the practice run, I found a shiny Wurmple and I nicknamed it Purple.